6 days from Uncensored, the Hogan vs. Savage feud was heating up, with both getting personal in a confrontation on Thunder Thursday, taking shots at each other with perceived legit issues and worked shoot comments back and forth, as after Nitro continued to set records on its hottest streak in history. 4 days ago on Thunder, built on 2 Savage Hogan segments, saw the show also drawing its highest ever rating with a 4.3. Hogan and Bischoff came out to respond to Savage's promo, telling Hogan to ask his wife who the man is and that he's getting calls from NWO members just waiting to stab him in the back, as Hogan responded telling Savage that he's out of line bringing his family into this and he's not the one bringing his wife on the road to the boys' locker rooms, with Eric also taking a shot at Savage's brother, saying that if it wasn't for them he wouldn't have a home, referring to Lanny Poffo being under WCW contract while only working a few dates a year. Giant came out next to hype his rematch with Nash, saying that he was looking for him backstage before bringing out Sting and Savage, to a big reaction, with Savage challenging Hogan to find 2 members of the NWO who wouldn't stab him in the back and face them in a 6-man tag tonight. The challenge set up Hall and Nash coming out next within a few minutes of each other to accept the match while both were wearing Hogan shirts, playing off the big talk in the company on the legit heat between the Hogan, Bischoff and Wolfpack groups escalating to new heights in the past week. Hours before Nitro went on the air, Bischoff, Hogan, Nash and Hall reportedly had a meeting backstage to set things straight and agree on the planned match of them teaming up later tonight, leading to all 3 cutting promos to put it over as the 3 founding members of the NWO that will never turn on each other. While things looked to be sorted out on the surface, the next day Hall and Nash received the news that will blow the heat up to new levels, with Bischoff firing Sean Waltman due to a dispute in contract negotiations in what was seen as a double cross and clear shot at Nash and Hall. "20 days from WrestleMania 14, the WWF was in the final stages of hype to all major feuds, with Tyson's follow-up interview after joining DX along with Austin's response set for tonight. The Nation came out to open Raw with Farouk and Rock teaming up against Blackman and Shamrock, as Rock was getting more over by the week with major heat on the road to the main event, with the announcers mentioning for the first time on air that Rock now calls the elbow drop he was doing for the last few months as the people's elbow. The match went 5 minutes, with Rock sending the Nation out of the ring before Shamrock turned it on him, in another hint of the eventual Farouk Rock Nation turn. Hogan and Bischoff were back out for the crossover segment, with Hogan responding to Savage's challenge, saying that the NWO is stronger than ever and tonight he will team up with the 2 biggest powerhouses in the NWO and Hall and Nash, saying that they would never turn as they love each other like brothers, setting up one of the biggest matches in Nitro history with the Big Star Power tag for the main event. Triple H and Chyna came out, with Shawn Michaels cutting a promo on the Titantron saying that he could not be there as he had prior commitments. Michaels hyped WrestleMania, saying that DX acquired Tyson, and last week he did exactly what he said by laying out Austin with the super kick, calling Austin a fad that will go down like anybody else that faced him before, as he's not laying down for anybody. As both shows continued to climb in the second quarter, with Raw jumping around 300,000 viewers for the DX segment to a 3.7 rating, while Nitro jumped the same to a 4.7. Raw had a show-long angle of production issues, with the announcers selling it as legit technical issues, which were later revealed to be part of Taker's angle with Kane and Bearer. with WrestleMania 14 on March 29 expected to be the WWF's biggest pay-per-view of the generation. WCW responded with a mega-card for Uncensored Sunday with almost every top name in the deepest talent roster in history set for high-profile matches on the show, resulting in a huge month of pay-per-view buys for the industry. With both companies trending up in every department, WCW is also on pace to set the all-time house show sellout streak in history, with the number set to cross 20 shows in a row as the company is selling out major arenas in record time. After hyping his response since the start of the show with cameras backstage waiting for his arrival, Steve Austin entered the building over half an hour into the show and went straight to the ring calling out Vince McMahon. Austin said that McMahon hyping Tyson like he did is a direct shot at him and he's not leaving the ring for the entire 2 hours of Raw unless he comes out, with Patterson, Briscoe and security trying to get Austin to leave with him sitting in the ring as the show went to a commercial break seconds before the top of the hour. At the same time on TNT, Nitro jumped over 400,000 viewers for the Page and Benoit vs. Raven and Saturn tag match to a 5.1 rating. Raw's second hour started with Austin still in the ring as Vince came out moments later for the confrontation. Austin got in McMahon's face telling him that he insulted him for the last time by hyping up Mike Tyson to provoke him. Vince responded that him billing Tyson as the baddest man on the planet is just a figure of speech, as Austin told McMahon that he knows he doesn't want him as WWF champion in the company. Austin then challenged McMahon to settle it right now and take the first shot, ending up with him ripping Vince's jacket to close the segment with built tension for the future program, as the segment jumped big with around 1 million viewers to peak the night for Raw with a 4.3 rating. While the Austin-McMahon segment was going on Raw, WCW had 2 matches in the quarter of Bulldog vs. Conan and Disco vs. Jericho, while in the middle Ric Flair came out to a big ovation in front of an hometown crowd at Winston-Salem, North Carolina, hyping his upcoming match with Curt Hennig in the next hour in the same building where Hennig turned heel on the Horsemen last year. Next on Raw was the continuation of the build-ups for 2 of the top matches for WrestleMania, with Foley and Funk against the Quebecers going 6 minutes, ending up with Road Dogg coming out to challenge both with Billy Gunn attacking Funk from behind. Moments later Kane and Paul Bearer came out for the follow-up promo on Undertaker's return last week, with Bearer hyping the first Kane vs. Taker match saying that Taker should have never come back and Kane will take him out for the final time at WrestleMania, as the lights went off with Taker in the ring. With Raw set to be preempted next week due to a Moby Dick movie, the show will air a day later on Tuesday with the company promoting it as a St. Patrick's Day special. At the same time, with WCW already breaking records almost on a weekly basis when going head-to-head with Raw, Nitro is expected to shatter every record in cable TV history next Monday on a highly hyped spring break special coming a day after the stacked uncensored pay-per-view. WCW loaded up the final half-hour starting with Ric Flair vs. Curt Hennig going 4 minutes before Rude Vincent and Conan interfered for the DQ, bringing out Bret Hart for the save in the final build to the Hart vs. Hennig match at the pay-per-view. Minutes later was the first Steiner vs. Steiner match, with Rick teaming with Luger and Scott teaming with Norton, as while Raw had the Goldust and Luna vs. Mero and Sable tag match angle booked for Mania. The quarter jumped over 800,000 viewers to a near-record 5.2 rating. Raw's main event quarter had the Mike Tyson interview with JR a week after joining DX. Tyson talked about growing up a fan in the confrontation with Austin on his Raw debut, saying that as a former and future heavyweight champion he can't take that from anybody, as JR asked about him now as part of DX while being the enforcer in the Mania title match, with Tyson responding that nothing is fair besides winning. Despite Raw promoting the Tyson interview throughout the show along with Austin promising to interfere in the Triple H match, Raw dropped to a show low 3.3 rating in the final quarter going against the Big Star Power main event on TNT. Triple H came out for his scheduled match with Savio Vega with the show already 3 minutes from 11 p.m., as Austin immediately ran out to go through security before Shawn Michaels made a surprise appearance to lay him out again to close the show, with Raw drawing a 3.6 rating overall, its second highest number in a full head-to-head show only behind the record set last week. WCW's main event in one of the highest profile list of star names in the same match in wrestling TV history, went 10 minutes with all 6 focusing on the 3 top matches for Uncensored with Hogan and Savage, Hall and Sting and Nash vs. Giant, ending up with Hogan's new disciple attacking Savage to give Hogan the win. The match matched expectations in more ways than one as Nitro's final quarter jumped over 700,000 viewers to an all-time Monday Night Wars record 5.7 rating, with Nitro overall also setting its all-time opposed record rating with a 4.9, continuing huge momentum heading into the pay-per-view Sunday and what is expected to be the most watched show in history next Monday.